Freight pedestal stand for my bench grinder. Here's it all set up. It's got a cast iron base. The bracket that holds the water is all cast iron. This is removable. And the top plate is also cast iron. It is not stamped steel. To give you a sense of scale, this is a 6-inch bench grinder. Comes in at 30 pounds. So as is usually the case with Harbor Freight, the price was right, but I have a couple of complaints, and fortunately, I think those complaints are easy to resolve. Let me walk you through them. At the bottom of the stand, there's a pretty big gap between the pipe and this outer ring. Now there are 3 leveling screws that'll help you level it like a Christmas tree stand, but as you tighten it, the metal in this pipe is so thin-walled, it sort of deforms the pipe rather than locking it in tightly. So the wall thickness is 14 gauge, a little too thin, I think, to properly anchor the bolts back. My other issue with it is this water stand. It is held together with a bolt that gets tightened onto the pipe, but I could just imagine with some use and vibration, this is going to come loose, and this is just going to want to fall down. So the top plate is secured with this one bolt. There's really no way to level it other than to shim it, and I'm okay with that. And I'm also not really worried about it coming loose, considering all the weight's going to be in the down direction. So I'm not too worried about that. I'll just tighten that screw up, it'll be fine. So I drilled and tapped the threads here so that this screw, rather than press against the pipe, will thread into it. That'll prevent it from sliding down. You'll also see 2 little welds over here. You could use a spacer, it was just easier for me to weld it. I did that to take up some of the slack between the stand and the pipe. You can see it fits a little bit more snug here, and as I tighten the bolt, it is much more secure. Now if you look toward the bottom, I also think it's a good idea to add some spacers. Again, I just welded it and then ground it down so it fits smoothly, and this is now a lot more snug. I'm still going to have the problem where if I tighten it, it'll deform the metal, but I feel better that this is nowhere near as loose as it used to be. I'll still be able to adjust the angle a little bit the way that it is, but it's just not going to fall around and flop around in there the way it was before. So the last modification I'm going to make to this is going to solve 2 problems. The fact that the metal will deform and the fact that 30 pounds for the stand is a little bit too light for me. The solution is pretty easy. And fill it with concrete. So here it is all finished. Now, I know it looks a lot like the original, but the added concrete made the pole rock solid. The bolts tightened up very snugly. There's no wobble in it at all whatsoever. The concrete also added about 12 to 13 pounds of extra weight, bringing the total just under 45 pounds. Now, it's still a little bit less than I would have preferred, but it feels a lot better, and I'm much more happy with it.